Today I read in the news that over 100 individuals were arrested in Makati yesterday afternoon. Supposedly for violating social distancing rules. The raid happened past 5 p.m. As they were drinking and dining at a resto bar in Salcedo Village. Times have really changed. Imagine if you had brought your prospect or client out for dinner and expected to close the deal there and this happened to you. This is Coach Leon sharing with you ideas on how to become a more persuasive sales professional. This is the third episode of the High Performing Sales Professional, and more to come every Monday at 4 p.m. In my mid-20s, I used to sell franchised business packages for one of the top multinational companies in the Philippines. All the selling we did was done face-to-face. So we were expected to dress impeccably well. The company gave its sales reps like me brand new cars, a budget for a nice briefcase, and a generous allowance for entertaining clients, which I love. A standard part of the sales process was taking prospects out to a nice lunch or dinner, and maybe drinks after, as we persuaded them to sign the franchise contract. And for existing accounts, it was a similar drill every time we offered an upgrade or a major purchase order to sign. This was in the mid to late 90s, some 20 years ago, but it seems that for many established companies, this style of face-to-face selling hasn't changed much. Well, office or plant visits, formal presentation, meals together, and on-site contract signing, are pretty much standard operating procedure. But now, with the COVID-19 pandemic, when taking out a client for drinks can get you arrested, we need to adopt our sales practices. So sorry you can't get your prospect tipsy before signing. Now, one of the more promising tools we have at our disposal are communication apps like Zoom, Skype, and even WhatsApp and Viber. I've had the chance to discover the potential of these tools, especially Zoom, to help me close sales virtually when I was invited to sell programs for a high-end digital marketing agency based in Europe. This was summer of last year. So essentially, I was exposed to this to high-ticket virtual selling a year prior to the local lockdowns here because of COVID-19. Now, initially, being the non-techie I am, I was uncomfortable using the virtual tools. I was the oldest rep there, and I think I gave the company sales director a headache with all the basic tech questions I was asking, like, how do I get inside the meeting? How come I can't hear anything? How do I share my screen? But eventually, I got the hang of it. In fact, for a particular campaign, I was the top producer out of an international sales team of 8 people. So I learned. Then I applied what I learned there to selling my own coaching and training practice. You see, I am Cebu based, and traveling to meet prospects and clients are an out-of-pocket expense for me even then. And now it's so hard to travel. So really, I really wanted an alternative to face-to-face selling, so I could both save and react quickly to inquiries. Virtual selling worked beautifully. I was able to close several six-figure engagements without any face-to-face meeting. These were all done through Skype or Zoom. Participants in the program would be surprised that I was meeting their management for the first time in the actual program. And I was happy about it because I didn't have to spend time and money on business travel. For selling via video conferencing, without the benefit of a face-to-face meeting or dining and drinking, you will have to rely a lot on technology. So, this is where you can channel what you used to spend on entertainment. And in this video, I'd like to share 4, quick tips on using video conferencing apps. All right, so first, speed. You have to have decent internet connection. So when I sold internationally, it was the first requirement that company asked for me, and rightfully so. Several times when I opted to work in a coffee shop and many other people were there using the internet, it would be disastrous with issues like frequent disconnection or lagging. And I also bought one of those, plug-in appliances, the basically unreliable. I currently use a 25 Mbps PLDT home connection. So far, so good. Okay, so that's the first, internet speed. Second is sound. You want to both hear and speak clearly. So you want a quality headset and to be based in a fairly quiet room. This will help you avoid asking a prospect to repeat themselves, which can really be irritating for them. So don't go cheap in this one. Many reputable headsets in the range of maybe 500 to 1,000. Third is sight. So if you're using an older laptop like I do, made over 5 years ago, the quality of the built-in camera isn't all that good. So you may want to attach a webcam. Now, those in the 1 to 2,000 range of established brands like Logitech will give you a much better visual representation. So let me give you an example. So I use Logitech C310, which I bought for 2,000 because basically this was the only one I could find the last few weeks. Using this, your features will be better appreciated. You also need lighting. Now, there are a lot of reasonable lighting options you can buy on Shopee or Lazada, like ring lights, soft boxes, also in the 500 to 1,000 range. For me, I just repurposed an old reading lamp, this one. Okay, so I just put a 25 peso folding fan and it works beautifully. Okay, so we as humans respond to visual data better than any other type of data. In fact, one study shows that the human brain processes images like something like 60,000 times faster than text, and 90% of information transmitted to the brain is visual. So you have to get this part right. Get a good cam, good lighting. So last tip. So we discussed speed of the internet, sound, and also sight. You appearing clear on their screen. Oh, by the way, let me add. Despite the popularity of Zoom, some prospects will not use their camera. They can see you, you'll be on cam, but you can see them because they won't use their camera. Get comfortable with that. That's pretty normal at the start. So it's more important that they see you and your material, especially if you share screen. So don't let that stop you if they don't go on cam. So last is substitute. Be prepared to substitute with a simpler form of media. Okay, some are intimidated by Zoom, so at the last minute they inform you they didn't actually download or sometimes internet conks out, so you have to have your phone ready. So you can say something like, let's say you're cut, you can say, oh, I'm sorry, we were cut, but before that you were describing your purchasing process, so please continue. See, so that will be elegant, just have it by your side. So I hope you found these 4 basic tips useful. I'll see you next Monday at 4 p.m.